Hello, science fans! Have you ever heard of people talk about the post-truth era? Apparently, we're living in it now.
What?
Post-truth refers to a cultural and political climate in which objective facts and truth are less influential in shaping public opinion and decision-making compared to appeals to emotion, personal beliefs, and subjective narratives. In this context, fake news and misinformation can spread rapidly, making it hard for us to figure out what to believe in.
No!
This sounds scary, but the best way to protect ourselves from lies and fake news is to learn how to identify them first. But before we talk about the different types of misinformation and disinformation using science, let me say hi to our new viewers first. My name is Chona and I'm your resident Filipina scientist. I'm a researcher who works with local fishing and farming communities, and I am an advocate for better partnerships with non-science communities. I'm also a teacher in the field of STEM, and it breaks my heart whenever our students get fooled by fake information. And SHE-ensya is my science communication channel, where I share useful information that people can use to protect themselves from being deceived. Let's talk about fake news and misinformation techniques, starting with fake experts and magnified minorities. Fake experts are individuals who claim to possess expertise in a particular topic, but they lack the necessary training or evidence to support their claims. On the other hand, magnified minorities is the amplification of viewpoints or beliefs that are actually held by a small portion of the population only. So, how do we spot and fight against fake experts and magnified minorities? First is we look for credentials, qualifications, and affiliations of the people claiming to be experts on a particular topic. Check if they have relevant education, experience, or recognized expertise in the field they are discussing. Second, consult a wide variety of reputable sources of information regarding the topic. Third, investigate any potential conflicts of interest that could influence the credibility or bias of experts. Check if they have financial or ideological motivations that can compromise their objectivity. Let's now move forward with logical fallacies, starting with the red herring. A red herring is a tactic used to divert attention by introducing misleading information. It's a strategy used to distract from the main issue at hand. Here are a few common ways in which a red herring can be employed. First is changing the subject. Instead of addressing the question or the main topic at hand, a person introduces a subject that is only tangentially connected or completely unrelated to the discussion. And rather than engaging in logical and rational discussions, a red herring can also be in the form of emotional appeals or the use of personal anecdotes to distract people from the main topic. Sometimes, a red herring can also be bringing about too much information that are both relevant and irrelevant to the topic. This tactic aims to confuse or exhaust participants, making it difficult to identify the main points or key arguments. So, what do we do when we encounter red herrings? Ask yourself if the information has a direct connection to the topic that you're discussing. You have to be critical on what subjects or what points to include or not include. Refocus the discussion by restating the main points or reframing the argument in a way that clarifies the central issue. Emphasize the need to address the original topic and remind all other participants to stay on track. Another logical fallacy is misrepresentation, which refers to the act of presenting information in a distorted manner. Here are some common examples of misrepresentation. The first is misquoting or misattributing, and this is when you inaccurately represent what someone said, or you say that someone said something that they didn't really say. Data manipulation or cherry-picking data is another common tactic used for misrepresentation. This can involve selectively presenting data that supports a particular viewpoint while ignoring or omitting contradictory data. Presenting information in an exaggerated, dramatic, or sensationalized manner is another form of misrepresentation. This can involve using provocative language, emphasizing rare or extreme cases, or amplifying the significance of an event or issue beyond its actual impact. And then altering images, editing videos, or any kind of visual content is another form of misrepresentation. This includes digitally manipulating images, adding or removing elements, or using images out of their original context to create a false impression or support a particular narrative. And when we encounter misrepresentation, what do we do? Develop fact-checking skills by independently verifying claims and statements using trustworthy fact-checking organizations or reliable sources. Be careful of emotionally charged language or ways of communicating information that can cause people to feel offended or have an emotional reaction to facts, because this could be used to misrepresent the information being presented. You also have to examine charts, graphs, images, or visual data presented alongside facts. Assess whether they accurately represent the information that is being presented, and also check for potential cases of visual or image manipulation. A very popular logical fallacy in the Philippines is a false dichotomy. This is when situations are being presented as if there are only two mutually exclusive options, when there are in fact other possibilities or nuances that are being ignored. This can also be reducing a multifaceted situation as a simplistic either-or scenario. This can lead to the exclusion of valuable perspectives and solutions. When we see false dichotomies, how should we fight against it? Seek common ground or shared goals between the options presented in the false dichotomy. Explore if there are ways to integrate elements between the two extreme options that are being presented so that you can create a compromise that involves both of those ideas. You can also explore and propose alternative options beyond the false dichotomy. We can look for more creative solutions than the two extremes that has been presented. And by including or looking for other perspectives, we can even create a better and more comprehensive solution. And then there are ad hominem logical fallacies. The term ad hominem is Latin for attacking the person. So this type of logical fallacy involves attacking the person making an argument instead of addressing the substance of their argument. Identifying and fighting against ad hominem fallacies involves recognizing when personal attacks or character assassinations are being used to distract from the topic at hand. And here are some recommendations. Clearly and calmly explain that attacking the person does not address the argument itself. Help others understand the importance of evaluating arguments based on their merits rather than resorting to personal attacks. Avoid getting defensive or retaliating in kind, even if it's tempting, and stay focused on the argument or expose the fallacy of the ad hominem attack. When it comes to STEM, one of the most popular tactics to discredit scientific information is by creating impossible expectations. Setting impossible expectations refers to the act of promoting or creating unrealistic standards, goals, or outcomes. Fake information may present claims or promises that are too good to be true. By setting unrealistic expectations, individuals may be enticed or persuaded to believe in something that is improbable or impossible to achieve. Identifying and fighting against impossible expectations requires critical thinking and a careful evaluation of the facts being presented. And here are some techniques that you can use. Consider the consensus among experts in the relevant field and rely on evidence-based information to evaluate the claims being made. Consider the motive and potential bias of the source of the information. Be aware of any underlying agenda, political leaning, or financial interests that may influence the information being presented. Phew! That was a lot. And we didn't even get to cover all. But I guess the biggest question in my mind is, why are these fallacies so compelling to otherwise sensible people? Now, the psychological research suggests that a lot of people are looking for knowledge and clarity about important events. They also need to feel secure and in control of their environment while also maintaining a positive view of their identity and the social groups that they belong to. If they don't get this from the news or from experts, that's when they start believing in fake news. So what do we do now? I mean, obviously, providing information is not enough. The key to countering fake news is doing more research and communicating it properly. And in the next episodes of SHE-ensya, I hope that we can talk more about that. But what do you think? What other fallacies or fake news tactics do you see in social media? And what do you do to counter them? Let us know your thoughts in the comments section below.